Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give the fan favorite everywhere belt bag, the real gift is... And when the ultra soothing rest feel slides are the gift, you're really giving them... This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give little luxuries that go beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at lululemon.com.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
And let's talk about what lessons about.
Let's hang out.
And let's listen to two lesbians shout.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Hang Out. I'm Ellie Brigida.
And I'm Leigh Holmes Foster, and welcome to our 8th installment of Should Have Been Gay.
Should have been gay.
Oh, it was fun, it was great, but it should have been a little more gay.
This is one that we're super excited about, and it's also one that we've gotten a lot of requests for.
Yeah, and it's also one that is technically gay. But we think it's pretty freaking straight.
It's one that we are very adamantly including on this list, despite the film's best efforts.
Best efforts? I don't know about best efforts.
Despite the film's mediocre efforts.
Period. And for those of you who have seen this film, I bet you know what we're talking about.
Yep.
This week's Should Have Been Gay is for the straightest lesbian film ever, Jenny's Wedding.
Jenny's Wedding. I think Jenny's Wedding is summed up best by a tweet that I saw when it first came out and everyone watched it, and someone just said, you know, I just finished watching Jenny's Wedding, and that is an hour and a half of my life that I will never get back. That really says it all.
Yeah. To be real, of course, you tell me lesbian movie, I'm in. Started watching Jenny's Wedding. I wasted maybe about 30 minutes of my life. And I couldn't get through it.
You were smarter than I was.
I couldn't.
I did get through it. And honestly, I feel like Jenny's Wedding is a film that I will hate watch at some point in my life again for fun.
No.
But it, yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about let's do a real synopsis of the movie.
All right. So, the synopsis for Jenny's Wedding. When Jenny, Katherine Heigl, decides to marry a woman, Alexis Bledel, her conventional family must accept who she is or risk losing her forever.
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 Okay, here's my synopsis for Jenny's Wedding. Someone decided to write a movie about lesbians without ever having met and or talked to one.
Yes.
I think that's accurate.
I think that's very accurate. No lesbians were consulted in the making of this film. See, my synopsis is, this is a ridiculously elaborate movie to prove that two roommates, who one of them needed to get their green card, got married, quote unquote, and fell in love. But it's just not believable.
Who do you think needed a green card, Kitty?
Kitty, for sure.
Okay.
They, which is Alexis Bledel's character, for those of you
Which
who...
also, wait, can we just take a hot second? Her name is Kitty.
Yeah, her name is Kitty.
I mean, not to be super stereotypical about, like, names that are gay and names that are not gay, but, like, I don't know.
You think Kitty's a gay name or not a gay name?
No, not a gay name. I feel like even you could make it work as, like, Kit, I could see being gay, but,
well,
like...
Kit from A League of Their Own.
Yeah, I just don't see... I don't know. It's just, like, every turn, this movie gets less and less gay.
It's also just like not
know
sexy.
how they do
you know what I
it.
mean? To be like, my wife Kitty.
You know, I don't wanna hate on
Sorry, love you,
people's
kitties, if
names.
you're in the audience.
It's not the gayest name I've ever heard. I don't know. I just feel like if that's, if step one is they started writing like a script and they just had the character names, I'm like, well, of course it all went downhill from there. Like,
Because you named her Kitty.
yeah.
Yeah. I would like to bring us back a little bit. We talked at the beginning of this episode that we got many requests to do Jenny's wedding.
Yes.
In particular, we got an email from somebody who listens named Alice, and she sent this beautifully written email that was basically like, here's my thought. Jenny's wedding for a should have been gay.
Hear me out.
Bullet points, hear me out, here are the reasons. And we actually had already discussed before we got that email. We were like, Jenny's wedding is totally on the list.
I think Jenny's wedding was on our list of should have been gays before we even started the podcast. Like,
Oh, yeah, right at the top. Yeah. But I still love that she emailed us.
yes.
So shout out to Alice. This one's for you.
I think it's great. Like, we're all on the same page. Nothing about this movie is gay. And I think anyone who's watched the movie, which if you haven't, I know we do this a lot where we're like, if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it and come back. I just don't know that I can in good faith recommend that anyone
Honestly, don't.
if you
Don't
haven't
do it.
already. Maybe get like super drunk.
Yeah, if you're wasted, you
and
can
then
maybe watch it.
Oh my god, we should come up with like a brutal like.
I think
for
we don't
Jenny's
usually
wedding
make
someday.
drinking games for our should have been gays, but I feel like this one warrants it.
It's the only way to make watching this movie have a point,
It is
so
so unbearable.
So maybe we'll think about that. But if you haven't watched the movie, I think from the very get-go, you start the movie with, this whole scene, kind of like exposition of Jenny at home with her family, blah, blah, blah. Her mom keeps trying to like set her up with someone. She goes home. She proceeds to have the most awkwardly distant conversation with Kitty, who hasn't officially even been introduced yet as her
Partner.
fiance,
Like, I have never had that much distance between me and someone I was dating.
Yes.
Ever.
And especially not when your fiance's coming home from, like, seeing her family. Like, Kitty has this line where she's like, I know how hard it is for you, or something. And you're like, are you in love with this woman who's just, like, suffering across, like, they're literally at opposite ends of the room. Kitty's, like, eating a bowl of cereal or some shit. It is, like, the least domestic situation ever. Like, they're barely even roommates. I'm like, that's not even how you'd have a conversation with, like, a roommate that you liked. That's how you have a conversation with, like, a roommate that you found on Craigslist that's a little sketchy and they moved in, like, a week before.
Yes, honestly,
Right?
yes.
Like,
They don't know
what
each
is
other
that?
at all. I swear to
all.
God, they literally met that day. Like I'm not saying the characters, but the chemistry between Katherine Heigl and Alexis Bledel is literally like they met in the morning, they filmed the movie, and then they were like, should we get to know each other?
Yeah, it's, like, non-existent. It's real bad.
It's so horrendous.
I almost feel bad for them, right? Because, like, I mean, Alexis Bledel, I know is not a terrible actress. She's playing gay in other stuff, right? Like, isn't she gay in The Handmaid's Tale right now? Or
Yes, she actually won an Emmy.
And Katherine Heigl, I mean, I feel like Katherine Heigl just tried so hard to, like, kind of make her big, like, movie thing happen, and it just, like...
It just really isn't it wasn't working for her,
No, it's like you kind of feel like she just kept, like, like, scrabbling back up a cliffside, but, like, never quite making it.
Yeah.
And then this, and you're like, well, this is not gonna do you any favors. I mean...
Yeah, I feel like Jenny's Wedding is the sequel to 27 Dresses. Where she's just like, fuck
I finally
it.
came out.
I might as well just date Kitty. Like, Yeah, the chemistry is horrible.
It's bad. And it never gets better.
They don't kiss for like the first 30 minutes of the movie, which I think is why I stopped watching.
Yeah, and then when they do, it's not
Oh, God.
good.
It's
not good, you guys.
It's so bad. It's like, I can't. It pretty much is like she is kissing a mannequin.
Yeah. both of them are. They're both, it's very stiff. It's just, same thing. It's like all of a sudden you're kissing that roommate that moved in last week and you're like, why is this happening?
With their
That's kinda what they
hands
look
especially. I feel like it's like, let's put our faces together and see what happens.
Hopefully that'll work.
Is this how you do lesbianism?
This is lesbians, right? But that's the whole movie. And I mean, the thing that I have to give Jenny's Wedding is I think they tried. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's not that much more formulaic or that much worse than a lot of other gay movies have been, right? Where it's like, I have to come out to my family, they don't necessarily accept me, there's all this angst and that whole process. It's been done.
Yeah.
It's especially been done. I mean, when did this come out? 2015? It's been done enough times by now, and it's been done better. And this, everything about it just feels like someone, like read a book about lesbians that was written in like 1958 or something and then tried to turn it into a movie. I mean, it's just...
The script, too, is like, she's like, oh my God, I can't even. Like, her coming out scene to her mom.
Yeah.
Her coming out scene to everyone is just, I can't even describe it because it's so bad. But it's like, everything is so on the nose. She's like, I know you don't accept me because you don't understand the way that I live. And you have lived a certain way your whole life that's not the same as me. But this is who I am. This is who I've always been. From the day I was born.
God, it's so bad.
And you're like, oh, like literally they were like, we heard Born This Way once. And then tried to make it into a film.
Is it that she couldn't change?
Even if she tried?
Even if she tried?
Even if she wanted to?
I think whoever wrote this movie, God help us for whoever wrote this movie that we are just going to trash up one side and down the other. And I didn't even look up who it is. We're so bad.
I honestly don't even care.
But I feel like they just Googled like lesbian music and they came up with...
Oh, yeah.
They came up with the Mary Lambert song. They decided that's the only song that's going to be in this movie. I mean, how many times does that song come on? Like 5? I don't know.
It's at least twice, and it's always when people are like walking dramatically away.
Yes, and it's just so cheesy. It's trying so hard.
Yeah.
And it's not making it.
It really isn't. And I just like to say, like, Alexis Bledel's not keeping her warm because she doesn't even touch her.
No, God, no. So, okay, I want to talk about the only thing in this movie that is gay.
Yes.
To me. Because here's the thing. When we say Jenny's Wedding should have been gay, I don't even think that, like, Jenny and Kitty should have been more gay than they were. My dream is that the only gay thing in there is her sister.
So gay.
So her sister Anne, Jenny's sister, who's played by Grace Gummer, is the gayest thing in this movie.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't understand. Like, if I was going to write another synopsis for this movie, my second synopsis for Jenny's Wedding would be, when Jenny comes out to her family, they are somehow surprised, even though their other daughter is the gayest thing on the planet.
Well, yeah, they're surprised because they expected their other daughter to come out.
She's so gay. She's so much gayer. She's, like, just everything about the way she carries herself, everything about her storyline with, like, oh my God, I'm realizing that I'm not happy in my marriage with my husband, and I'm not a happy person like this, and I need to change I'm like, that's...
Because you're gay, hun.
That's your gay coming out. That's your... I don't get it. What? Where's that story that's hidden in plain sight in this movie that they somehow just ignored?
honestly a far, far better story.
I mean, at least more believable. You tell me Grace Gummer's playing gay in that movie, I'd be like 100% yes.
Oh, yeah.
She looks gay. She's got this. She's like in flannel in one scene or something. Like,
oh yeah, she's super, super gay. I also want to shout out, this is sort of unrelated, the scene where Katherine Heigl just screams about strap-ons.
yes.
Because that's the only way that lesbians have sex, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a lot of people do. I'm not hating on it. But I just think it's, like, hilarious that the one line that even hints to the fact that Kitty and Jenny have ever had sex in their whole lives is when Jenny screams at her father, or screams at Kitty, "My dad wants to know if we strap it on."
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what. That lesbians only have sex with strap-ons is exactly what you would get in a movie written by someone who's never talked to a lesbian before.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
I think it is in lockstep with everything else about this movie.
So yeah, in conclusion,
it's not an issue because Jenny and Kitty have obviously never had sex with each other.
Kitty's like, "Do we strap it on?"
I like to imagine that, okay, when Jenny and Kitty get married, I like to imagine that it's kind of like the lesbian version of, like, what was that show that they had a couple of years ago, and it was all about, like, people who were waiting for marriage, right? And, like, they hadn't even kissed, like, they weren't kissing until they got married.
Yes, I don't know what it was called, but yes.
Every episode trailer would just have, like, the teaser would just have, like, the horrifically bad, like, tongues everywhere kissing of, like, people who have never kissed before, but they're, like,
God,
in their, like, late 20s or early 30s or something, and they're just, like, licking each other's face.
No.
That's what I like to imagine, like, Jenny and Kitty's wedding is kind of leading up to be, is, like, the lesbian version of that. Because, let's be honest, those two have never done it.
Ever. They've been together for 5 years, and they have never had sex.
No, not even a little bit.
Not even once. And when we get to the actual wedding, they don't even kiss. We don't even get a now you may kiss the bride.
It's probably for the best. It's
honestly,
fairness.
We didn't want to see it anyways.
So in conclusion, I think we can say, Jenny's wedding, you tried your best, but you should have been gay.
You just should have been gay. Oh, God. It's just torture.
It is.
Well, as a reminder, if you want to find something that's actually gay, you can find us at Let's Hang Out Pod on all the social medias, our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
You can also email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com. Let us know other topics or other movies or shows or other things that you think should have been gay.
And if you're enjoying the podcast, you can support us at patreon.com/letshangout and get access to some fun perks.
You can also buy some of our merch at our TeePublic store. You can find that at bit.ly/lesshop.
And if you want to support us in a way that is completely free, the best way to do that is to listen to us on Radio Public. When you listen on Radio Public, we get paid listens, but it's completely free to you. Our link for that is bit.ly/leslisten. And with that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Leigh.
And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Buffet brawlers, glory holes gone wrong, cannibalistic castration cabins, public poopers? These are just a few of the crazy topics you'll hear covered on Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the pettiest podcast around. Whether you need a break from all that murdery true crime stuff, or just enjoy hearing hilarious stories told in a unique way, I got what you need. I'm Leroy Luna, your fearless host/chauffeur. So come hop in my minivan and let's go for a ride. I promise you probably won't be disappointed. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically everywhere you consume podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th of the month, baby!